Change, alter, vary, modify mean to make or become different. Changing implies make either an essential difference, often amounting to a loss of original identity or a substitution of one thing for another. Change. I'm so sorry about the lighting. There's only so much I can do with what I have in my room. But today, I'm going to be talking about change. So if you guys are new here, welcome and hi. Welcome to my YouTube video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today I'm having a very conflicting day. Today I'm going to just do some chit-chatting and I'm making a birthday card. So while I make a birthday card, I'm going to be talking about. Okay, I hope this is like a better angle, that the light isn't too off or whatever. But anyways, like I was saying, welcome to my channel and hello. You might also shake a lot because you're on like two different containers, so my bad. Anyways, today I want to talk about change, and that is something that I needed to talk about for a very long time. It wasn't really a conversation with YouTube particularly, but just within myself. Uh, the thing is that I am somebody who's learned that I cannot keep living the way that I do. In my first video, I did talk in depth with it, but because I was so annoyed with iMovie that I was struggling to edit videos, I was just like, okay, you know what? Never mind. I cut out like 15 minutes of footage and just pasted together whatever I was able to work with, and then I just posted it. But I realized that this is a conversation that I need to kind of basically have. So for a very long time, I've been very afraid of everything. I'm like very afraid of taking new risks, taking new challenges. I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of all of that stuff. But when I was younger, I wasn't really afraid. When I used to live at my old house, I was quite confident. I believed in myself. I took every opportunity that was handed to me, and I kind of lived a really courageous life. And then at the age of 9, when I moved to this current house, I started developing a lot of fears and a lot of stuff. There was changes happening to me even before moving, but they were very subtle. But when I moved to this house, those changes became very drastic. I used to never be afraid of spiders. Now every single creature, crawly thing scares the hell out of me. I used to be very energetic, very much ready to learn, very much ready to like take on the world. And over time, I started to kind of lose all of those passions. I used to love art. I used to go to art school. I used to paint. I used to do a lot of those types of stuff. And then I stopped. And basically, over time, I stopped doing the things that I loved. I stopped doing things that made me happy. I became very unhealthy. I became very secluded, very recluse. I would just stay to myself. I wouldn't try and go out. No adventures, no talking, no nothing. Like, just absolutely nothing. And I never really realized or noticed that until specifically COVID happened and then the lockdown happened. That's when I started to realize, like, oh, there's something wrong with me. It wasn't like something I noticed in the beginning, because in the beginning of COVID, I was still doing some school. It was my first ever semester. No, I think second semester. I came back from Cuba and the lockdown happened. I finished my semester, and at that time I got a Switch and then I got some new games, so I was just playing with that. But as COVID and lockdown kept extending, things kept getting worse, and mentally, when the video games weren't providing much of a distraction, when watching new shows and stuff weren't doing it enough for me, that's when I started to mentally just completely have a breakdown, and mentally I have kind of lost it at that. During lockdown, I feel like I realized that I genuinely hated myself. I hated the way that I look, I hated the way that I speak, I hated every like every part of myself. Anytime I took a picture, anytime I recorded a video, it had to be with a Snapchat filter on that would hide my acne, that would hide how I actually look, and it would try and make me look more prettier than what I actually look like. And in COVID, I learned so much about myself, and that was that I just hated myself completely, inside and out. I just didn't like anything about myself, and I wasn't happy with myself. And that's kind of when I realized that I was losing myself, and I just didn't realize it. So, I don't know how to explain this, but when I was younger, I never had time to actually work on myself and think about myself, because when I was younger, I was going to school, I was going swimming, I was going soccer, I would go to the library, I would go out with friends, I would play with the neighbors, I would and do all of that stuff. And then when I went to high school, I was going to high school, I was going to tutor, like extra help for school. I was doing swimming, I was going to art school, I was doing this and blah, blah, blah. I never really had time for myself to figure out who I am as a person, what I want to be, what I want to do. And because I wanted to fit in, because I was struggling to make friends, I was struggling to fit into what the society wants, which I wasn't maturing fast enough. I was trying to mold myself into in a way that people would like me, becoming this very attention seeking type of person, and I absolutely just hated that. And I realized during COVID and lockdown, when there was nothing else to distract me, I started to learn about myself, and I learned that I just purely hated myself. Anytime a teacher would ask to do any sort of like videos or any sort of recording where my voice was used, I always hated it. Like I just hated it. So when I like make YouTube videos, when I edit YouTube videos, I basically have to re-listen to myself, keep listening to myself, edit, cut, right? That's what you have to do. And I realized that I was able to listen to myself just fine. I wasn't hating it, I didn't mind it. I can re listen to myself over and over again until I get the perfect edit that I want. And I was like, why did I hate my voice so much before, but it's fine now? And I realized that because I wanted to fit in with people and because I wanted to act good with everyone, I would fake a naturally high pitched voice that was so joyful and so happy. And I realized that I faked so much about myself. And I realized that that only served to do me wrong, because I didn't grow up liking who I was. I just tried to cater to other people, but other people thought I was weird and fake. And to me, I wasn't myself because I was trying to find an identity where I can make friends and I can be a part of something, not realizing that I just ruined it for myself because I couldn't understand that you can't fake, you can't be fake to yourself, because it's just wrong. I don't know how to explain it in better terms, but I kind of faked my personality. I faked being this joyful person to fit in better, to, like mesh in well with people. And when I was like in COVID and stuff like that, and just, like learning about myself and being like, why do I hate myself so much? Why do I just I couldn't live with who I was, because I just never had the time to figure out who I was, because I was faking so much of my personality to fit in. And COVID kind of made me stop, made me stop thinking about what the world wants, and it forced me to dig deeper in within myself to say like, hey, what do you want? What do you want from your life? What do you expect? And that kind of made me go down a deeper rabbit hole, because it made me really think like, hey, who am I as a person? What's my personality? What do I really enjoy? What do I hate? What do I actually want from my life? Who do I actually want to become? And I started to realize that I just was faking everything. Fake positivity, fake negativity, just everything about me. Yes, there was some truth to my identity, but I was playing a character. I wasn't myself for so long. And also, I would always try to pity myself and make feel sorry for myself, like, oh, I'm so ugly, I have so much acne, I have weight, and blah blah blah. I would always position myself in a way where I always look like I was the victim, I was the wrong party, like how so and so is able to date, or how is so and so able to accomplish this. I feel so pathetic in this and that and blah blah blah. And during COVID, it made that like version of me worse, because I would see people moving in with their partners, I would see people succeeding and see people actually doing something good in life, and I'm just here sitting around like, what the hell, like, why not me, why not me? It was always, why not me? And I just kept digging this self-pitying hole, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. As it was getting worse, as it was happening, as it was getting like even worse, and I was just spiraling and everything, I, trigger warning, dealt with some self harm, and I was struggling horribly. Even though like me and my friends would call and do FaceTime and like check up on each other, it was so hard expressing how I truly felt. Not because I, not because like I just truly didn't, I just didn't know how to express myself in a way that was so personal, because I never was that personal with myself. So how do I tell somebody about my problems when I like me like my like I don't know myself? And it took so long for me to realize that whatever I was dealing with is not good and it's not natural. So when I kind of realized that, that's when I started to be like, okay, what am I doing so wrong that I am acting this way, I'm behaving this way? Like, why do I feel like everything is just meant to be against me when really it's not? I started to kind of think deeper, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look at just what's currently happening to me. I'm going to go all the way back into my childhood and see where the changes started to happen, where I was starting to go wrong, and maybe I can work on bettering myself. I knew that I couldn't change in a day. I I knew that from the very beginning, that change was going to take years. And I remember that I had to start from the beginning and work my way up. So rather than focusing on my outer appearance, I was like, let's fix mentally what's happening with me and let's change the process and my way of thinking. So I basically just started doing that. Basically, I started to think about like, when I was younger, I used to be so positive. I used to hang out with friends. I used to be very positive in the sense that like I had a more positive outlook, but I wasn't afraid to have feelings. And I realized that I was always trying to act as though I was just this strong girl who could do everything. I would always have two emotions, which is like hard rock Nidhi, which is like very like stubborn and strong, and then like the sad sensitive Nidhi that would cry all the time. And I realized that like there was very rarely any joy or happiness that I was living in my life. Like my joy was very short term and relied on other things and relied on other stuff, and I realized that that's unhappy. Not unhappy, that's unhealthy, right? Because if I'm only getting short-term joy when I buy something or when I do something, it's like, okay, but what about other days when I'm not doing a very exciting journey or not getting a new toy or whatever? Now what? Now what do I do? And it just didn't make sense to me. So during COVID, I had to do so much more, not soul searching, but rather just understanding myself on a deeper level. Why do I hate myself so much? Why did I change so much? And I realized that, like, I never really focused on myself. I always focused on other people. What do other people want? What do other people need? And I realized that I was never true to myself. In my people pleasing tendency and wanting to always be liked and wanting to always have some sort of friend or companion, I realized that I never made real friends. I just made friends who wanted something out of me or that was willing to just tolerate me. And once again, that's not healthy either. And I realized that I have to fix that issue. That is not an issue that it's not something that, like, I need to work on it right away, because if I don't, it can have very long lasting effects on me. And I'm quite very much aware that it's very unhealthy and can be quite toxic and can to lead to really bad relationships down the road. And I'm not just talking about romantic ones, I'm also talking about friendships as well, because friendships and other relationships other than romantic ones can be quite toxic if it becomes that way. And so during COVID, I then downloaded TikTok in 2021, and I decided that rather than cowering anymore, rather than being negative all the time, let's take a steps to start doing things that I love. I quit painting for a while. And in 2021, I started painting my wall again. And if you see that cubicle, this box right here, that was the first ever box I painted in my room. And it sparked this whole journey to painting my room. And I recorded the process. I would do paintings in my sketchbook. I would do them on canvases. I would do them on my walls. I made like these paper ones, and then I also showed process of building my Legos. And then I made a public Instagram account showcasing my art. And I stopped kind of having this self-pitying of like, why not me? Why can't I have a boyfriend? Why can't I be this hot, sexy, amazing looking person? And then I realized, well, like, I eat sugar all the time. I don't work out that often. I don't do anything moderately to change myself. And that got me thinking about change and how I need to change. Which brings me to my next point. Change was something that I was so scared of, because when I was younger, while everyone was starting to talk about relationships and maturing and not playing on the playground anymore, I was still a kid at the playground going, does anybody want to play grounders, or does anybody want to play like hide and seek? While everyone else was maturing and thinking about other stuff, I was still mentally being a little kid. And I realized that, like, everyone matured faster than me. I wasn't just willing to accept that my childhood was over, that I had to grow up now. And it kind of got me thinking, and it got me like, you know, like really looking at myself older now, that like, you, just because I'm a grown adult doesn't mean I can no longer watch cartoons or do fun things. It's just that I have other responsibilities I need to take on, but I can still have fun. And that's the point I wasn't getting for so long. I can still have fun while being an adult, while having a lot of pressures and stuff, because having joy, having fun is what makes life more bearable, more easier. I made this YouTube video or this YouTube channel to kind of track my change. Like, track it, show that I'm changing, show that I'm growing, blah, 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 blah. But as somebody who's like me, I don't want my YouTube channel to be just about me changing and my self growth. I want it to be about other stuff as well, but having self growth inside of it, right? So I was like, maybe, and because I'm having such a hard time keeping like going to the gym and stuff like that and changing my routine, I was like, everything is just so overwhelming. And then I realized that it's because I'm making it overwhelming for myself. When I do something, I always make the process 10 times harder for myself for no reason. You can ask my best friend, whether it's buying food, getting drinks, or whatever, I complicate situations that are so simple. When I was going to the gym, I wanted to go every single day. But it's not possible. I can't go to the gym every single day. I'm busy. I have plans. I have things to do. Rather than considering that maybe I can go every other day, or maybe I can start with just 3 times a week, twice a week, and then move up, 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 that would be more consistent. I may be doing it for less, but at least I'll be more consistent. And I realized that now I'll be consistent. I'll go less to the gym. I won't force myself to go every day, but at least I'll try and go twice a week. I already went on Monday. Today is Wednesday. I'll maybe go on Friday. That'll be my twice a week. Maybe I'll go Monday, Friday, and Saturday, and then I might increase the days that I go, right? I can change slowly. I should cut out sugars because sugar is contributing to my acne. So I need to cut out sugars, but sugar is my entire life. I have a sweet tooth. And I realized that I just can't cut out sugar. Maybe I can just slow down the amount of sugar that I take in. I like how I'm talking about like taking in less sugar while I have a huge ice cap. Irony. Anyways, but I realized that like rather than just completely stopping to like just completely stopping to take sugar, just consume less. If I eat a big bowl of ice cream today, maybe the next day to eat no ice cream. Maybe if I eat smaller portions of ice cream, like instead of taking like 2 scoops of ice cream, just take 1 scoop of ice cream. Maybe instead of having ice cream and then cookies and then chips, maybe I might eat only one thing, right? I just feel like I make things hard for myself and then I can't commit to them. And then I'm just like, I'll never get better. I don't allow myself to have time to change or have time to actually do whatever it takes to change. And then I'm always crying, like, oh, why isn't it working? Well, maybe because I'm going about it the wrong way. And I think I kind of like understood that in these past couple of months that I take steps to change, but I take them so far big, and then those changes can't work because it's just too much for me. Like, it's just too much for me to do all of that change. I feel like change doesn't happen overnight. I've stated that before. But change doesn't happen just because you're like, I want to change. That's not how it works. If you really want to change, you have to put time, energy, and effort, and you actually have to commit to those changes. And I feel like as much as I want to change, I'm always stopping myself back because I'm just so overwhelmed from it rather than just taking baby steps. Because it's like, for me, it's like, I want to change now. I need to do this now. And it's like, no, that's how you fail faster because you're not giving yourself time to actually think about what you're changing, think about what you're doing, and actually changing. And like, I'm always constantly working against myself rather than working with myself. And then I'm crying over here like, why is this change not happening? Why am I not getting slimmer? It's obvious. And I realized that it's going to take time. And I realized that I can't just wait for the perfect opportunity to change. I just have to do it now. I just pick a day and just do it. So I want to record, or like, I want to track my progress. I want to record my progress, but I have so many things that I'm doing in life. I might not vlog every single week, but I can at least do check-ins twice a month and be like, so I've been going to the gym consistently. I've been failing to go to the gym consistently. But I came up with a plan. Maybe if I do these check-ins, it might help me out a bit more because one, it will give me a reason to continue doing so I can update y'all, and two, it can actually help me adapt to change and actually, make that effort, make that change. Because I just feel like I'm running in circles. Like, I need to change. I start doing too much. I get overwhelmed. I stop. And then the cycle continues. And I realize that, like, that's not healthy. That's not good. I need to slow down, take a deep breath, and actually think about it and actually put energy into changing. Not just saying I'm going to change, overwhelm myself, and then that's it. Like, slow it down and start small. I'm somebody, when I want to do something, I just take that leap. And sometimes taking that leap is very much important, but you can't take that leap every single time. You have to take baby steps. And I feel like I keep taking leaps rather than baby steps. So I hope through this video, and if I track my progress, that I will actually take baby steps and I won't leap. And I have multiple ways to track my progress and multiple ways, so I'll show you. Okay, so since we're going to be changing and tracking stuff, let's do this properly. So I have an agenda. I think during the summer I was very consistent, and then towards the end of like the summer, so like towards September, I think in August, yeah. In August, I started to very much slow down, and then I completely stopped and I restarted again from this week. I started again. So I went to the gym, I tracked down what I did at the gym, how many things that I did at the gym. I also have an Apple Watch that has my daily like exercise stuff, but I wrote down here. I also write down like if I buy any sweets or if I drink any sweets. So today I got an ice cap, so I'll be writing down that I got an ice cap. And if I go on a walk with my dad at night, I'll track those down as well. So I'm gonna start tracking down like any sweets I eat, so like ice cream I eat, and I'm just gonna track them. Because I want to cut down my sugar, I want to see how many days I can not go without sugar, but how much sugar I actually kind of take in. Okay, like I was saying, got cut off there, but so light blue will be my morning skincare routine. Dark blue will be my night skincare routine. Red is going to be any activities like gym activities, walking, any sort of those things will be in red. Pink will be any sweets that I eat. So if I drink ice cap, if I eat cookies, anything like that, I'll write that in pink. Medication will be in orange. I do take B12 and iron pills, so those will be in orange, I think so. And then if anything else needs to be added to this, I will add and then update you guys. I still need to write yesterday's and today's skincare and anything that I ate and drank that was sweet, but I hope that if I write it down in this, that over time I can actually track everything and that I'll get better at actually changing my habits and I actually do better. I don't want to wait until New Year's because I just feel like it's pointless. If you want to change, you change now. You don't wait until the perfect moment. You do it when you can. You don't do it when it's just, you don't do it when everyone else is doing it. You do it when it feels right to you, because sometimes during the New Year's, you might be busy, you might be doing other stuff, you might be dealing with other things. So it's easier to just do these types of things when you're actually able to pay attention and do it. So I have this, and I hope that when I do my next check-in in a month from now, that I do have some change, I do have some progress. I do have a weight skill, so I will, but see, the thing is, if like I gain, and whatever, that's a topic for another. Okay, so some time has passed. As you can tell, the blinds are closed, the lighting is still bad, but it's whatever. I just wanted to talk also about like my studying. I can't focus on studying anymore. So I've been doing some research on how to educate myself better, how to study better. I'm trying to get my old studying habits back where I'm able to pay attention and actually like just continuously study. I am also learning how to take breaks in between study. So like when I'm getting overwhelmed from schoolwork, I could probably go to the gym, I can do some stuff, right? I feel like change is a very scary thing for me because change is not always positive and sometimes change is positive. I just feel like change is very scary for me because I'm just so scared of losing everything again. Because moving from the old house to this house, I have lost a lot of friends. I lost my confidence. I lost a lot about myself. And I'm just hoping that I'm able to not regain those stuff back, but at least be a better person and become a person that I enjoy, that I like, that I don't hate, right? Because I want to improve, I want to grow, essentially. I also kind of want to say that like change is something that's going to take time. I think I'm gonna kind of name these series called like I Have to Change Unfortunately or something to make fun of it. But like I can't be positive all the time, which is something I do understand and do recognize. I am a human being, but what I realize is I want to feel emotions. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm upset, I'm upset. If I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm joyful, I'm joyful. I want to experience my life with everything that it has to offer. Whether I am upset and I have to cry everything out, do that. If I get angry, I'm angry. I want to feel every emotion. Once again, like I said before, I'm a human. I'm going to have different emotions. I'm not going to be positive all the time, but I do want to be positive and have positive outlooks. Yes, other emotions will be there and I will live them because we're humans. Whether you live once or if I will be reborn and have another life, I want to live it to the fullest. I don't want to be scared anymore. I don't want to cower anymore. I want to take opportunities that I can and I want to explore my life. I love being adventurous. I love doing new things. I lost that habit and I want to regain it. I want to find my old self, but I also want to find a newer version of myself that I can be proud of, that I can be happy with, and that I know at least I tried, at least I did it. And failure is going to be there. I'm always going to fail at some point, but I want to at least try and at least attempt it. I think this is something that I was trying to get across in my first video, but failed. So I hope this video does a better job at that. Sorry for the angle. The phone is getting lopsided. But anyways, let me know if you guys are going through the same thing, any experiences that you've learned, because I just genuinely want to know what other people are going through, because it sometimes it just really does seem like we're the only ones that are going through everything. And I realized that no, like everyone's fighting a different battle, everyone's learning something new, everyone is figuring themselves out. So I want to know. I want to learn. I want to experience things. And I'm just genuinely curious. Is there something that you guys want to change? Is there a change that you guys don't like? But yeah, this is pretty much going to be my launching pad to changing, to discovering my new self. Okay, I think I already explained why I have this, but I'll explain it again. The reason why is because why I'm putting money at the end of the day. It's because one, I can get very inconsistent, and two, I have never ever filled up a jar with money. And I'm hoping that every time I record, depending on how I feel and how much I have, I dump it in here. Only loonies and toonies though. So $2 coin or $1 coin. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? So I'm hoping that as I continue my journey, I can actually fill this up. I'm not touching this jar. Like I have another bag that I just have like I'm collecting change in, but I'll take out change, give it out, give it to my mom, give it to my dad. But this change bottle, I haven't removed any change. Even videos that I've deleted and I've added money in here, I have not taken it out. It's in here. I'm not removing it. I want to add it until up to here. For change, change with a change. Okay. Anyways, for change and for becoming new people and discovering ourselves, $3. We have 3 loonies. I was gonna throw in a toonie, but I don't have a toonie. So 3 loonies. That's it. That's all for today. Live, laugh, love. Kiss your homies goodnight. Gatekeep, Gaslight, Girlboss. Do whatever you want as long as it's legal and safe and it makes you happy. Try new things, and that's about it. I still don't know how to end videos, so please pray for me. Bye! Hello. So I was editing the video and I realized that I talk about boyfriends. And I think I may have misconstrued a little bit of my speech, so I want to make it a little bit more clear. I'm not changing myself for a man or a boy. I'm changing myself because I believe that I need to change internally and that I need to mentally change myself and start believing in myself. So no, this is not a speech about me changing for a man, but it's more about changing myself to be more healthier, to be more happier, and to be more respectful. So yeah, this I will put at the ending of the video. Once again, I don't know how to end videos, so please pray for me. Goodbye. Yeah.